Now on Up North Live News at 6. Cleaning up and getting the power back on. Many northern Michigan communities remain closed down after the weekend ice storm. Shelter in place, that's the message from Michigan State Police. What does it mean, and are people listening? A different kind of problem in Wexford County. The Manistee River is running high. Could it get worse or better? Plus, thinking about summer, Pitt Spitters Baseball is less than 60 days away. How you can create your own food item at Turtle Creek Stadium.
This is Up North Live News at 6 on 7 and 4.
Take a look at this chunk of ice. That's what was falling off of the Mackinac Bridge and why the Mighty Mac was closed for about 2 hours tonight. The bridge just reopened a few moments ago after it closed around 2:15 this afternoon. Maintenance staff at the bridge say this is the worst ice they have ever seen. Meanwhile, Governor Gretchen Whitmer has declared a state of emergency for 10 of our counties after that damaging ice storm. As part of the declaration, the governor has activated the State Emergency Operations Center in Lansing to oversee and coordinate the state's response with local needs. More than 100,000 homes lost power across the northern Lower Peninsula and Upper Peninsula. The state of emergency declaration includes the counties of Otsego, Oscoda, Montmorency, Presqu'île, Emmett, Charlevoix, Sheboygan, Crawford, Mackinac, and Alpena. Now, by declaring a state of emergency, Governor Whitmer has made available all state resources in cooperation with local response and recovery efforts in those designated areas. And we are taking a live look at power outages across northern Michigan. We are starting with Consumers Energy. There are outages in most counties, but Sheboygan County is seeing more than 9,000 customers affected. Otsego County is seeing more than 6,000 outages, and there are more than 4,000 customers affected in Emmett County. Now let's check out the Great Lakes Energy map. More than 43,000 customers have been affected. There are currently outages wherever you see those colored dots. Emmett County is seeing the most, with more than 12,000 customers affected. Now to the Upper Peninsula, where more than 5,000 Cloverland Electric customers do not have power in Mackinac County. Chippewa County is seeing more than 1,000 customers affected. Stay home and stay safe. That is the message from Michigan State Police. The shelter-in-place order for multiple counties is currently set for 24 hours, but could be extended. According to MSP, thousands of trees have fallen, blocking roadways, and are becoming entangled in power lines, creating safety concerns and making travel extremely unsafe.
The cars that are on the roadway are finding a lot of obstacles. There are lines and trees across the roads everywhere, and every time a car strikes a line or catches onto a low-hanging wire, it causes further delays in restoring the power. So we need everybody to be patient and let our crews get out there and get these lines fixed up so we can get power back and get everybody back in business.
Lieutenant Vetter says anyone running a generator should do so sparingly to conserve gasoline, and anyone without power and is in need of a warm place to stay or get food is encouraged to call 211. As cleanup crews and linemen crisscross northern Michigan, some areas of damage remain untouched and dangerous. One Sheboygan resident says he's worried he could lose his home if help doesn't arrive soon. Stephen Bergstrom says his plot is covered in branches with live wires dangling into the street, frozen in ice. One branch shattered the back window of his car.
Last night, it sounded like a war was going on. Every second, that's what you would hear, if not worse. My wife has been diagnosed with stage 4 bone cancer. I mean, we've been going through the cancer treatments for almost 2 years, and we can't make this one on Friday.
Bergeron says only the city fire department has been by to inspect the wires with no help from Consumers Energy crews. He says the total damage is already very expensive for him and his wife, and that further roof damage would make recovery next to impossible. Several warming centers have opened in each county to help residents in need of food, water, and power. Petoskey City Hall has suspended staff operations and is staying open 24/7 until power is restored to the rest of the city. City Manager Shane Horn says a significant transmission main leading into the city was damaged in the storm.
Unfortunately, last night was not helpful to us with the additional freezing rain and temperatures, so we've lost a number of additional power poles, and a number of additional lines went down last night. So that's likely going to set us back a little bit on how we are able to restore power, across the city.
Warren says it may be 1 to 2 days until power comes back, and that volunteers are available to drive Petoskey residents to warming shelters. And we have learned tonight that one warming shelter option is no longer available. We're told the Salvation Army's Sheboygan location is dealing with generator issues that are making it difficult to keep the facility warm and open. But you can find a full list of warming shelters throughout northern Michigan on our website and the UpNorthLive mobile app. Hardware stores are staying open to meet the growing demand for supplies, even if it means customers have to shop in the dark. Staff at Meyer Ace Hardware, north of Petoskey, say it's been a hectic couple of days. Anything to do with heating and electricity is all but sold out.
Keeping things on the shelves has been kind of tricky, but we're able to find stuff and keeping people, everything that they need for the most part. But we're having a hard time with things like generators, kerosene. We do have a truck that we are expecting, whether it's going to be late today, more likely first thing in the morning, and it's going to have a variety of generators on it, some other heating things and stuff that people are asking for.
Smith says the store will likely close once people stop showing up, but it could run longer if the emergency shipment arrives tonight. Smith says the shipment is coming from Illinois. And there are just a few gas stations open in Otsego County, and people scrambled to get gas and food. At the Marathon gas station in Gaylord, traffic was lined down South Otsego Avenue and Johnson Road, with residents waiting to get gasoline to fill up their cars and generators. One Gaylord family said they were waiting in line for more than 40 minutes to finally get to a pump, and they weren't sure if the gas station would even be able to supply everyone.
Just hoping that we were going to be able to get it before they ran out.
Yeah.
But I mean, like we said, we've been lucky that Johnson Oil has had two trucks here so far.
Yep.
Today, just today. So that tells you how many people have been in this line outside of our line that we've been in.
McDowell says if you go inside to purchase water, other drinks, or snacks, it'll add an additional 15 minutes to your wait. And nearly everyone living in Alpena has now been without power for more than 48 hours. Lines for gas stations running on generators are overflowing into main roads. Downed trees and power lines can be seen all across the city. People are flocking to one of the only operating grocery stores, Meijer, on M32.
Currently, we have lots of water available in the store, along with other beverages as well. We have many different shelf-stable items if you're looking for, meals to feed your family with. If you don't have power to be able to do that, we have that available as well. We have run out of propane, so we don't have propane. I get a lot of calls for that currently, but we're working to get more into the store. But, as far as the needs to take care of your family and feed your family, we have what you need.
And Meijer is also serving as a hub for gas, but be prepared to wait in line for several hours and bring approved gas cans so you don't get turned away. And take a look at these pictures. Staff at 106 KHQ in Emmett County say its 630-foot tall tower fell Sunday night due to accumulating ice. Staff say its engineering team is working to learn the extent of the damage. The tower is located on Dutchman's Bay Road just outside East Jordan. Staff say their team is working to figure out how they can get back on air as soon as possible. A lot of fallout around northern Michigan from the storm, and we're learning tonight some areas have seen a historic amount of ice. For more, let's turn things over to our chief meteorologist, Joe Charlevoix from the Storm Team Weather Center. And Joe, how does this storm compare to past ice storms?
Honestly, they're very few and far between something like this with the amount of ice that we had. Speaking with the National Weather Service, there was a conversation about maybe this compares to a storm back in 1976 across northern Michigan. These were some of the highest ice reports we had. Elmira, an inch and a half of ice. And typically when we have, an ice storm or a situation with freezing rain, we get usually around 1/4 inch. So for perspective, it's like, 6 times as much at Elmira. So this is the weight of ice. You take a 1/4 inch of ice. It's like putting a small car on top of your house, 2,100 pounds. You get up to 1 inch of ice, and keep in mind Elmira had about 1.5 inches. It's like putting a full-size pickup and a car, 7,500 pounds, on your home. Of course, you can imagine what that does to the trees, and here's what it does to the power lines. If you have a 300-foot long power line, you lay down a 1/4 inch of ice, it weighs about 140 pounds, but you can see why the power lines and trees came down. We had, in some cases, a 1/2 inch up to 1 inch of ice. Imagine that weight, 749 pounds on a 300-foot long power line. That's why a lot of those lines and trees did come down. We'll have more on that forecast. We have another messy system on the way in less than 48 hours. More on that a little later.
Thank you, Joe. And in the midst of the impact from this historic ice storm, we're also following a flood warning in Wexford County. Right now, this warning is in effect until Friday. Our Allie Baxter joins us live now from the Content Center. And Allie, you drove around the area forecasters are keeping a close eye on.
Yeah, Maya, that area is the unincorporated community of Sherman. Now, if you blink, you might miss it, crossing the M37 bridge between Buckley and Mesick. But this area usually has a high risk for flooding from the Manistee River.
Nothing extreme, nothing like property is going to be washed away or anything.
But it's still something forecasters and meteorologists at the National Weather Service in Gaylord are keeping an eye on as more rain is coming to Wexford County midweek.
We're expecting the flood stage to remain kind of right at that minor, but it is pretty close to moderate right now. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that and just kind of watch that going forward.
The difference between minor and moderate flooding is a foot. Monday, the Manistee River's gauge recorded more than 15 feet. Moderate flooding starts at 16 feet. The river's record crest is 16.87 feet, recorded in April 2014.
We have these hydrologic models as well, and we coordinate with the River Forecast Center, and they have just kind of model outputs of what that river is expected to do. And they use our forecast as well, our precipitation forecast, to kind of calibrate that model.
Meteorologist Joe DeLizio says while it's not quite at a record level, this circumstance is pretty rare.
The amount of rainfall as well, which we've had, 2 to 4 inches over the past couple of days. And that's pretty rare, especially for this time of year, later March.
As Joe explains, higher rainfall rates can lead to the river rising more rapidly.
Rainfall to different snow melt over the past, month or so. That's all resulted in kind of this river flooding.
NWS staff want to remind you that when in doubt, do not cross a flooded roadway because it doesn't take a lot of moving water to cause issues and sweep cars away. Live in the Content Center, Allie Baxter, back to you.
Looking ahead to the Pitt Spitters summer baseball season in Traverse City, staff looking for your participation. Coming up, what you need to know about how you can get involved.
And a little bit of a break tomorrow in the weather, but another messy system on the way midweek. The latest on that after the break.
I'm Jada Johnson from Big Boys TV, and the Fish and Game Report is sponsored by Johnson's Propane.